So I wanted to come online and tell you about a dream I had last night. Um, and normally when I um, do videos on my channel, it's about Bible studies and for beginners mainly. Um, I do have a lot of dreams, and obviously the ones that I believe that come to me from the Lord are usually early on in the morning. This dream that I had last night, I also had another one about 2 weeks ago, which I will share as well. They were both very short. This dream that I've had, I don't really know how to interpret it, but it was very short. However, it was very visual and sort of more like a vision than a dream. It was quite, it was quite, I suppose, frightening because I felt I was actually there going through it myself. So the dream goes like this. Basically, I last night I dreamt. Well, this morning, early this morning, I dreamt. I was actually in Iran, and I dreamt that I was in a government's quarter, and basically I was. It was like as if I was an employee there, um, but like an employee who didn't know what was going on. So like a person who was like looking around to see what's happening. The people who worked in the office were mainly women. So the obviously this the quarter that I was working in was in the women's quarter, and I was just looking, but constantly there was a guy with a beard coming and looking around my desk to see what I was doing, and looking at all my notes, looking at everything that was going on. And suddenly I looked from the building outside, and I saw all the Hezbollah guards, all the patrollers out there, and there was absolutely loads of them. There were thousands, and they had their, obviously their, military uniform on, and they had their guns, and they were just like, doing their exercises, like, um, you know, um, just running around, and there was things being said, but it wasn't just the Hezbollah. It was leaders there, the leaders of the Iranian regime were there. And while we were looking out of the window, the army looked at us and called us down, and it was in a very authoritative way. And we were all women in this building. So, you know, uh, I kind of felt fear in my sleep while we were going down the stairs. I thought, oh, they want to kill us or something. And basically, we were all lined up, and at this point, it wasn't just the women, it was men as well, and children. And I felt the people who were there working for the government were the families of the government. So they knew what was going on internally. And it wasn't so much that people from the outside had the jobs, it was people who worked in, who were like religious people who also were families of those leaders, worked for them. They knew the secrets, they knew everything, what was going on. And I did see also one or two involvements of like European, not European, sorry, I shouldn't say that, one or two involvement of the Western country. I can't obviously say what it was, but I saw like some one or two foreign faces there. While we were stood there in the line, I saw this man who looked as if he had a bow in his hand, a bow and arrow, and this arrow looked very, very sharp, and he was like laughing and shooting, sort of like laughing and pointing at sort of planes that didn't belong to Iran, as if he was like looking at sort of like, striking them. And but that wasn't the thing that kind of, disturbed me. He was like laughing and trying, but he didn't look Iranian. He didn't. He had, he had very, very unusually pale skin. He spoke Persian, but he just didn't look Iranian. And he looked as if he was the leader of the, guiding the regime, the Hezbollah. It was really unusual, even though there were like, the men in turban and, different people there. But he looked as if he was the one who was like in charge of the whole thing. He had the arrow and the bow in his hand, and he had the say. The next thing I saw is that he didn't want to shoot those arrows in the air because it would have been obvious that people would see, I guess, what was happening, because it was, evident if he shot things from the air. What happened is we were stood near the sea, and I saw, I don't know what it was, but it was like device, or maybe I don't know if it was a weapon or something, that from under the sea pushed the water back, like the waves were going back the other way. And again, I don't understand what this means myself, but what I saw was like it felt like a tsunami going backwards. So it was like as if, you know, Iran, it felt like this regime was trying to do something discreetly that nobody could see from underwater. It did not want to be exposed. So what it was doing, it was actually causing havoc from underwater. That the water was actually, this thing that they were using to push the water back. It wasn't actually pushing the water back. It looked as if whatever they were doing was pushing the waves to go backwards and creating something under the sea that was causing, like, it felt like a tsunami. I don't know. It just felt like something like that. I don't exactly know what it means. Obviously, I know that the Bible, when it talks about the sea, it can refer to different things. But I just wanted to tell you, I just feel as if, like, I prayed on this morning, and I feel as if, like, maybe it is that this country is trying to do something hidden from underwater, where it does not want to be exposed. It does not want to be confronted with what it's doing. And I believe that there is obviously things going on from under the sea that we probably are not aware of. So I just wanted to share this with you, and obviously, please pray on this, and ask the Lord to for us to sort of like pray over this, so we can come against these kind of attacks. After this, when he finished doing whatever he was doing, and the sea was like in a really funny way. After, obviously, they pushed this water back by whatever device it was. I saw that we all went back, and the soldiers were, patrolling around, and we all looked really scared, but that was the end of the dream. Just another dream I had about 2 weeks ago. This was again an unusual one. It's similar to a rapture dream, really, but it was like as if I was watching it, but I wasn't there. So I saw a party going on, and it was like a drunken party going on in the world. I saw everybody drunk in the world. I saw people with such bad hangovers. They didn't have a clue what was going on. They didn't know. And I saw that Obama was there, and he was in the midst of the crowd, kind of leading the party. And people were like loving the fact that he was leading the party, and they were really drunk. And there was a lot of people who didn't care what authorities were saying. They were just doing what they wanted. And basically, in my dream, I saw that people were so intoxicated they couldn't actually be in the right frame of mind, if that makes sense. And I kind of saw Obama, not as a president, obviously. It wasn't about America. I saw him in leadership and in alliance with like different nations, like as if like he was like, like the way the EU are joined together, and it was something like that. But I don't know what the alliance was exactly. And now again, I don't know who is going to come and who the Antichrist is. God hasn't revealed that to us. He does say in the Bible that you will see him. Obviously, the abomination of desolation standing at the temple when the peace treaty is made. But I do know that from what I'm seeing, from what I saw again in my sleep, it was early morning again. I had this vision and dream. Is that Obama was in charge of something that was like that had sort of like power over a lot of countries. So I don't know what that means, but that doesn't mean to say he's the Antichrist. I'm not saying that, but I am, what I am saying is just what I'm seeing, what I saw in my dream. And people were like drunk. They loved him. I saw in my sleep people were like, couldn't get enough of him. He was just going around the streets waving and laughing, and and there were people just drunk. He knew he wasn't drunk, but everybody else was drunk. So these were the dreams. I hope obviously it has kind of opened something to help us pray on. Please, by all means, keep praying, especially against whatever the enemy is trying to do from Iran, Lord, from Iran. So, just keep this in your prayer to come against it in Jesus' name. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.